Chapter 10, Section 2, Problem 19. You want to determine whether the reasons given by workers for continuing their education is related to job type. In the study, you randomly collect the data shown in the table below. At this level of significance is at 10% alpha there. Can you conclude that the reason and type are dependent? Complete parts A through D below. Okay. So here we have a problem here. Part A, identify the claim and state the null and alternative hypothesis. Okay. For chi-square test of independence, the null hypothesis is always a statement of independence of the variables. So a statement of independent, the reasons are independent of the worker. The alternative hypothesis, the reasons are dependent on the worker. The claim is what is a statement. Is a statement. The researchers believe the claim is the alternative hypothesis here. In that case, reasons are independent of the type of worker. The alternative hypothesis is the claim. Degrees of freedom is going to be the rows times the column. Each one rows minus 1 times the columns minus 1. So we end up with, let's see, 1 times 2, which is 2. So degrees of freedom is 2. And now they want us to find the critical value here. What we can do is go to StatCrunch. Go to calculators, chi-square. Here again, we're interested in to the right side. Always to the right side there. And the degrees of freedom is 2. And our area in this case on the curve is 0.10. And let's see what they give us. And it gives us our critical chi-squared, our critical value. Okay. So this is the critical region here. So if it falls inside the region, we reject the null hypothesis. If the test statistic falls outside of it, we fail to reject. So there's our critical value there. We just found it. So the rejection region here is greater than. You reject the null hypothesis there. Find the test statistic. Include stat and then the tables. Contingency table with summary. Select our columns. And then select our row labels. Type of worker. Now just select the count. And scroll down a little more. Select this chi-square to select it and hit compute. And there's my test statistic here. It's way out there. And it's greater than our critical value. So evidently, for our test statistic, what has occurred is quite rare. So we end up rejecting the null hypothesis. It falls in that rejection region there. It's greater than the critical value. So we end up rejecting the null hypothesis.